Good afternoon, and I say afternoon because my son, who produces these videos for me and writes the description, he said to me, we haven't done a housing one. So I'm recording this on the same day as Wednesdays, which is on Tuesday, in fact. Hence the shirt's the same, before anyone asks. Right, now then, housing. Yeah, this is a monster. This is a 2, 3, 4, 5 week episode if we wanted to make it such. Now let's take you back through my history, because my history has been seeing housing crashes. I've told you about the one in 08-09 in Dubai. Well, then after that, when those prices had fallen 70% and everyone trusted me, I did the radio show, the property show, for 4 years until 2013, November 2013. 4 years, every week, 2 hours, not a piece of paper in front of me. Because I learned these things and I believe I understand them, that I don't have to have notes, etc. Now, what happened in November 13 was that Dubai won Expo 20. It was held in 21, but they held Expo 20. And so again, everyone was just cheering and shouting, we won Expo, we won Expo. And they looked at me and said, oh dear, he's got a glum face again. I said, well, everyone's bought. Everyone bought on the understanding we'd win Expo. How do they cash in? They have to sell. I said, it's not difficult, it's economics 101. And of course, everyone was very disappointed. And I said, well, I think they'll fall 15 to 40%. That was the last show I ever did on Dubai Radio. And that was the last time they had the property show on Dubai Radio. Didn't go down well. But by 2016, the market was down 40%. I rest my case. Property is like a tanker. It sails in one direction, it speeds up, but when it turns and comes back, you can't stop it until it bottoms. All this talk about 0.25% rate cuts, 0.5% rate cuts, garbage. Absolute garbage. Once the market turns, no one wants to buy. More and more people then want to sell because they're trying to protect the equity they thought they had at the very top, and now it's falling and they need to get out. Some need to get out because the mortgage is catching up with the equity as the equity falls. Some people just want to take their profits, whatever. There are more sellers than buyers. Economics 101, price falls and doesn't stop till it bottoms or something massive happens in the economy. Well, I'm going to say this. If you can see something massive positive coming in any economy in the next 3, 4 years, you're a better man than me. And I mean that. So, we're on a one-way journey. Down. It's happening in America now. I'm going to send you the, if I can get it up, there it is, yeah. It's spreading, says Jeff Schneider of Eurodollar University. That's the first link I'll give you. Because we trust Jeff. He's good. He's thorough. He's not excitable. He's just thorough. And he's not a real estate agent, okay? You don't want to talk to a real estate agent when prices are falling because they haven't got a clue. Not a clue. They'll see 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, this convenience, that convenience. They will not see the macroeconomic pressure for prices to crash. Now, we've got prices crashing everywhere. I'll also link to you Manico 64. Because what he talks about is the tax changes, and also, would you believe it, this is where the dots start to join, tokenisation. I'll link you Miles Harris. Think about what they're going to do to property, how they're going to tokenise the ownership of property. And what does that mean? It's not good. It's really not good. Because like in everything, and I will take money laundering as a case in point, when you go to a bank and you want to move £1,000 to, I don't know, Papua New Guinea or whatever, you are going to go through trials and tribulations and paperwork and everything. When someone wants to move 500 million, done. Not an issue. Corporate fascism appears in every part of our society at the moment. If you have the money, you can do what you like. If you haven't got the money, you'll do what they tell you. And it'll be painful and costly and expensive. And you're subsidising the guy who can move 500 million just like that, just a stroke. He can move it. It ain't fair, but that's life. Nothing's fair. And when you get into tough times, there is no fairness left. We are in tough times. I've done a lot of work since my earlier video, and all I found everywhere, New Zealand, Toronto in Canada, Australia, there's a very good guy called Biko, B-I-K-O. You love him or you hate him. It was a bit Marmite-like, and they use that in Australia, don't they? Vegemite. Okay, Biko, you'll love him or you hate him, but he's good. All right? And he has some bad jokes, but he's generally good on the property front. He's worth watching. I'll link him in, okay, so you can see one or two of his presentations, then you can follow him. If you're in Australia, you can follow him, because he's good. So, we've got price falls in every major market. New Zealand is crashing. We've known that for 2 years. Australia is topping out, I think. And I think once it turns, it will be a hell of a ride. It'll be like a roller coaster on the way down, because the prices are just so ridiculous at the moment. All right, historically, they're just so ridiculous. I will find you an article on Australian property and I'll link it if I can. We may come back to this, but I want you, let's do macro, okay? We have to understand the macro. Everything is against house prices. Real interest rates are high. Wages are not going up, jobs are going. There's 3 criteria. Massive effect on housing, okay? Governments are looking for ways to raise extra tax in any which way they can, because they're all so far indebted, it's unbelievable, except it's true. So macro, governments are putting in all sorts of taxes, stamp duties, whatever. They all hurt property. Now, who has buoyed up this property market? What sector of the economy has made this property? Investors. Corporate fascism. They've been given tax breaks. They get lower rates. They have to put less deposit. They're speculators. They're not home buyers. Home buyers are at the end of the queue. Speculators are at the front of the queue. So just like in 2013, when I was confronted on Dubai Radio with one expo, so how far do prices go up? I said they'd fall. I mean, everyone had speculated by buying the property before the announcement. So when the announcement comes through, job done. Criteria fulfilled, I need to cash in. And that's exactly what I said on the radio. I said, well, look, people have to take their profits now. It's no good buying a property on a speculative basis and then not selling it when it hits the top. Oh, you sell it. And that's what happened. So where are we? Well, we're at the beginning. In some markets, we're already a fair way down. New Zealand is a fair way down. Toronto condominiums a fair way down. Where else? Australia's now still strong. UK, London is falling. And I've got a piece on that as well, which I'll link in. I think it's called Help Economics. Now, he's a good guy until he gets to the very end, and then he loses the plot totally. It was exceptional until he got to the end. And then he can't see, oh, I think base rates will fall, so therefore people will come back in and buy. Come on, it's an oil tanker, it's not a speedboat. It doesn't zip, 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 zip. It goes one direction, and then it goes the other direction, and it has to bottom. There's a rule in stock markets which is never catch a falling knife. So why would you come into a falling property market? Let the knife hit the floor, pick it up, much safer. And that's the rule in property as well. Because once the prices start to fall, the banks start to panic. Once they start to panic, they stop lending for property. So there's less liquidity in the market. Investors don't want to know. They don't want risk. They want rewards. And they get tax breaks to get rewards. You don't as a home buyer, do you? No. Everything is against the property market. Absolutely everything on a macro trend is against the property market. So they will all fall, and they will fall seriously. And when they fall seriously, the wealth effect is enormous. And therefore, the economic effect is equally enormous. We'll come back to this, but I wanted to get this one out on house prices because my son had said our past one was getting tremendous viewing rates, so let's do it again, let's catch up. We'll come back to it, but for now, thank you very much and speak to you tomorrow.